What's up, everybody? It's me. It's your boy, T Money from GroundRuleRadio.com. Tim at T Money Miller here for GR Live, which you can find on GroundRuleRadio.com, via our YouTube network, via Ustream, via just about everything you can think of on Twitter. I'm everywhere. Just find the show. Got some new segments introduced to the show today. I'm going to get to a question I was asked earlier for some new segments, doing a little bit different format of the show. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Hopefully you've enjoyed Ground Rule Radio Live recently, and I've seen through the numbers that people have been checking out the show. I'll be getting that later on as well. Some of the new segments. You're hired. It's a little bit different than Donald Trump's "You're fired" or Vince McMahon's "You're fired," but it's "You're hired." And Cleveland Browns have hired their next head coach, replacing Pat Shermer from 2012. 2013, the new head coach, Rob Chizzinski, spent 2 years as the Carolina Panthers offensive coordinator, working with Cam Newton, working with Ron Rivera in the Carolina Panthers offense. He's also been a offensive coordinator with the Cleveland Browns, as well as a tight ends coach with the Cleveland Browns, both in separate stints. And he is a native of Ohio, so this is a good fit for them. They're also looking to add Norv Turner as the offensive coordinator to work underneath Chizzinski in a very ironic twist of fate. Chizzinski worked under Turner. Now later in life, it's going to be possibly be the other way around. So they're going to go and try to get in contact with Norv Turner, who knows where he ends up, possibly underneath Rob Chizzinski, the new head coach of the Cleveland Browns. So you're hired on the other side of those things. The future endeavors. Best of luck in your future endeavors. Go out to Jacksonville Jaguars former coach Mike Mularkey. After one season as head coach of the Jaguars, they have decided to move on with under new general manager. See what happens. They roll Tim Tebow being a member of the roster in the near future as well. So Mularkey out. I know Greg Roman has been a name from the San Francisco 49ers, as well as Brian Schottenheimer, a few names that are being thrown about to take that Jaguars coaching position. We'll wait and see where that job goes from here. And another guy who is on the unemployment market, Chris Rainey, Pittsburgh Steelers running back, waived today by the team after being arrested for a simple battery, apparently putting his hands on his girlfriend, supposedly. They've placed him on waivers, and the swift-handed justice in the NFL has claimed another one as Chris Rainey finds himself without a job. The moneymaker of the day, the person, in my opinion, who made the biggest impact. And it's not somebody who did it on a court or on a field, on the ice. It's a writer. I talked on yesterday's show about the Hall of Fame kind of turning into a crock, especially the process, as there are definitely some names on the Hall of Fame ballot that should be Hall of Famers. But since first year since 1996-2013, the first year that the Baseball Writers Association of America did not vote a player into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Jason Stark, a writer, ESPN, has done a lot of work in the Philadelphia area as well, has stated that he voted for 10 guys on the ballot. He voted for 10 guys himself, and not a single player made it into the Hall of Fame. And Aaron Seeley got a vote, and I hope that Jason Stark wasn't the guy with 10 guys on the list that voted for Aaron Seeley, and I wouldn't think it would be. There's a lot of names on the list that deserve the Hall of Fame. I still say Lee Smith, Jack Morris, Frank Thomas, Mike Piazza, Jeff Bagwell. There are certainly some names on that ballot well deserving of being Hall of Fame. I'm not sure if Frank Thomas is actually on there yet. He may be next year, but the other names, Jack Morris, Lee Smith, Jeff Bagwell, Mike Piazza, who I think is the greatest offensive catcher of all time, definitely deserving to go into the Hall of Fame. A little bit of TNA real quick, and it's not what you think. T-Money and answers, if you will. Get your mind out of the gutter, ladies and gentlemen. I was asked recently who I thought was the NFL MVP, in the same context of who was the NFL Comeback Player of the Year. And I think both names here go with each award, and that's Adrian Peterson all day or Peyton Manning. In my opinion, I've gone back and forth on the MVP race. I could see both sides. But I'm actually going to give it to Adrian Peterson. I said if he would have broke the record, that would have did it for me, and I still stuck with Peyton Manning a week ago. 9 yards away from breaking the record. Doesn't break it. Second greatest rushing season of all time for Adrian Peterson. Coming back from destroying his knee. Coming back opening day, has that spectacular of a season. And who else really is on the Minnesota Vikings to get the job accomplished? We said earlier in the season Percy Harvin was an MVP candidate. And after he goes down, All-Day Peterson, ADP in my opinion, takes the ball and runs with it, literally, for the Minnesota Vikings. Christian Ponder had bright moments, but without Percy Harvin, who was really the go-to receiver. Kyle Rudolph had a nice season, but I think without Adrian Peterson, the Minnesota Vikings are not a playoff team. Not even close, in my opinion. So I think he meant a lot more. Yes, Peyton Manning did a lot for the Denver Broncos. They had great defensive play as well. We saw bright spots out of them getting to the playoffs last season with Tim Tebow. Figured out Demaryius Thomas is a really good receiver. Art Decker, another great go-to receiver. There were more weapons on that team than I thought. That Peyton Manning had a nice cast, more of a cast around him than Adrian Peterson did. So I'm going to give Adrian Peterson that. But the comeback player of the year, I go in the opposite direction. It has to be Peyton Manning, in my opinion. Because let's all remember that Adrian Peterson played 12 games in 2011. He played 12 games. Sure, he shattered his knee and came back in an epic amount of time to come back for opening day of the 2012 season and put in quite a performance, being the second greatest rushing performance in a season of all time, just under Eric Dickerson. But Peyton Manning missed an entire year with a neck injury, following numerous surgeries on that neck, and came back and has his team in prime position in the playoffs with the number one seed in the AFC as their starting quarterback. What a turnaround he had from sitting on the sidelines and Indianapolis parting ways for him to sign on with Denver and be a big part of them being the number one seed. I think it's the time frame alone. Like I said, Peterson still had 12 games under his belt in 2011. Peyton Manning didn't get on the field. And his team is in first, getting ready for a big matchup against the Baltimore Ravens this upcoming Sunday. I believe it's Sunday, Saturday or Sunday, this upcoming weekend. Whichever day. I haven't looked in the games. Tomorrow I'll be discussing the Saturday games on the show. But that's a game coming up this Sunday I'm really looking forward to. Peyton Manning, Ray Lewis on the field. Last time that this matchup is ever going to happen. Ray Lewis, of course, getting ready to call it quits as soon as the Baltimore Ravens are eliminated from the playoffs or as soon as that they win the Super Bowl. That'll be his last game. And how fitting that would be for his career. Great matchup. Can't wait to see the game. He's got some great NFL games this weekend. But that's where I stand on the MVP race. I think it's got to go to Adrian Peterson, come back player of the year, Peyton Manning. But I will understand if Peyton Manning gets the MVP because I think he put in an MVP caliber season as well. That's the TNA for the day. The cue for you, the question for you. Like I said, I've seen through the stats that people are watching the show, but I'm not getting the interactivity that I was looking for. This show is meant to be interactive, so I'm going to make you work for the show now. I'm going to make you work, and I'll answer the question on the next day on the show and read some of my favorite answers to the queue for you. You can send your answers in various different ways. You can tweet at Tim Money Miller. You can check out the forums of GroundRuleRadio.com. You can leave it in the comment section underneath the post at GroundRuleRadio.com. You can leave it in the comments in the YouTube page, or you can even email me, GroundRuleRadio@GroundRuleRadio.com. Let me know your thoughts. What is the greatest sports moment that you've lived to see? Like I said, I'll let you know mine tomorrow on the show, but what is the greatest moment? What is that iconic moment for you that you will always say, I'm glad as a sports fan that I got the chance to either see that or be a part of it? Let me know the various different ways. I am Tim Money Miller. Enjoy your Friday. Stay safe. I'll be back Friday night to ring in the weekend with you. We're ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go NFL divisional round playoffs. Let's get it going. Let's get tailgating. Let's get the food underway. Let's get the beer underway. Let's have a good weekend. Peace.